We're going to do a deep dive on The Princess of Convenient Plot Devices. This is the manga adaptation of a light novel of the same name. Published by YenPress, it's rated teen. As always, I'm going to go through the first chapter, and then I'm going to give you the spoiler warning as I continue to flip through it and give you my thoughts. So Octavia is our protagonist, and she has been reborn into her favorite BL novel. Now, Octavia was a Fujoshi in her previous life, and while normally she'd be fangirling over the couples, in this story it makes it a bit awkward, because the main couple of this story happens to be her brother and his lover, and her brother is next in line to the throne. And while two men in a relationship is the absolute norm for this world, especially for the nobility, it makes reproducing an heir a little bit impossible. And Octavia, having read the books, knows exactly what her role is for this. She's supposed to have a political marriage and give her firstborn child to her brother Sirius to raise as his own and be the next heir. Now, Octavia wants absolutely nothing to do with this because she wants to marry for love. And she's had a hard time finding that recently because she keeps falling for her bodyguards. And of course, because this is a BL novel, they keep running away with other men. So she basically made her own rule if she is not falling for her bodyguards anymore. Because really, there's no point. So Octavia has been coming off like she doesn't really like her brother's lover, Sil. Almost like she won't give her blessing. And her brother thinks it's because she's never been in love before, but she decides to say, yes, I have been in love, I have a boyfriend. And I'm totally going to introduce him to you. There is absolutely no boyfriend. There is, however, a very handsome bodyguard named Clifford, but Octavia thinks Clifford is probably going to run away with a man at any point, so she really just needs him to stick around until she figures out what to do. Meanwhile, she decides to go look for a fake boyfriend. She runs into her younger brother out on the training grounds, and he does not like Clifford. He knows something is up. But Octavia thinks that her brother has the hots for Clifford, and not wanting to have to go through another application process for a new bodyguard, she decides to be like, nope, he's off limits, he's mine. Sorry, brother. And her brother, Alexis, is actually very protective of Octavia. So basically anything she says he'll do. Now at this point they're all getting introduced because Octavia didn't even know what Clifford's name was. And her brother, now knowing his name, finds him even more suspicious. Because even some of the soldiers know Clifford has a very dangerous reputation. Suddenly, there's a sword that comes out of nowhere aimed right at Octavia. So of course her bodyguard Clifford deflects it and saves her life. And so now we have to find out who's the culprit. Luckily they do come forward. Now, Octavia knows exactly who it is, and she comes up with a plan. Alexis wants him punished, but Octavia's like, no, don't worry about it, brother, I got this, he's fine, he apologized. What Octavia wants is to be introduced to this guy's brother because he's going to make the perfect fake boyfriend. So there are two main factions in this story. The true love nobles like her brothers Sirius and Sil, who adopt their female relatives' children to further the bloodline, and the adulterous nobles who marry women and keep male lovers on the side. There's also straight couples, but they're usually non-nobility. So this brother she wants to be introduced to is part of the adulterous nobility, so she figures no harm, no foul if he's going to be the fake boyfriend. Now in order to see this plan through, she doesn't want to have to hire any more bodyguards. So she tells Clifford that she doesn't want him to quit, she wants him to be her final bodyguard. So Clifford's like, you want my eternal service? You got it. So he seals the deal literally with a kiss and puts his insignia on her hand. And that is the end of chapter 1, so I'm going to continue to flip through it as I talk about it. So this is definitely within the realm of political isekai. There's a lot of background information that I couldn't even put in this. You're gonna have to read it. But I found this so enjoyable. Like, I was laughing at Octavia's internal dialogue because she was literally cussing and flipping out while looking like totally composed. And there's a lot of things that happen throughout reading where you're like, there's definitely a bigger picture here that's going on. So they're leaving little snippets as you go. So I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I definitely want to know what happens in the second volume.